Hey Husker fans, Evan Bland here with Jimmy from the Omaha World-Herald, omaha.com, coming to you once again on a Tuesday inside Memorial Stadium. Another day of availability with coordinators, a couple assistant coaches, a couple of players, and I think maybe the prevailing notion from practice today from both offensive coordinator Matt Lubick and defensive coordinator Eric Chinander was this idea that Minnesota, coming off a bye, might be able to work into its game plan maybe some wrinkles that Nebraska hasn't seen yet on either side of the ball. And really the message from the Husker coaches is more or less what you would expect, that they're going to focus on themselves, that they're going to have their own game plan and their own system that they can adjust to what Minnesota does. It is more of a time of possession sort of team. Offensively, it wants to run the ball. Defensively, it wants to offer up some confusing looks so the offense has some second thoughts on things. But before we get much more into the Gophers, Jimmy, some of the guys had some good thoughts too on the fourth down play against Michigan last week that ultimately didn't go Nebraska's way as the Wolverines pulled that one out.
Yeah, offensive coordinator Matt Lubick said that on the fourth down throw it was supposed to be a situation where the receivers kind of all got off the ball at the same time, which would have helped improve Samori Touré's leverage. I think Lubick also said it could have been a little bit of a better ball, but that's just that's sort of insight that I think is important to understand as we go forward through the season here.
And they went faster than that was intentionally, right?
Yeah, they went faster, and some of the beat writers were talking on the side about, like, on the ABC broadcast, the clock looked like it was running and then it reset. It was a very strange situation. Lubick said that he wanted to go faster because he wanted a few extra plays. I don't know if they noticed the clock or anything like that, but a lot going on that fourth down play. In other news, Quentin Newsome earned his black shirt last week. We learned about it this week. He's going to tell his parents about it later today. He thinks they'll be very excited to hear that news. He was very excited to hear that news. Travis Fisher was talking a lot about the tradition of what it means to be a black shirt, of knowing that everyone else who has ever worn a black shirt is watching you when you earned that honor, and they expect you to hold up that standard. It's a cool tradition here at Nebraska. And Newsome earned that black shirt in no small part because of his improvement as a tackler. Going back as far as week 0, a lot of the elder defensive backs in that room were talking about how Illinois was running the ball at Newsome to test him, and they thought he held up well then. Travis Fisher, the defensive backs coach, said that last week might have been the week where Newsome put it all together on the perimeter tackling front. And he also said that Cam Taylor-Britt, who has been around for a while here, had played his best game of the season against Michigan. He broke up a couple of deep passes. He made a bunch of tackles, including one on a screen play where he had to come clear across the field. So there's a lot of good happening in that defensive back room, Evan.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Deontay Williams and Chinander both spoke to the fact about how deep the secondary was and what that allows Nebraska to do. I mean, there's sort of a shorthand among defenders. Williams said he can just look at Cam Taylor-Britt and give a nod, and they know what a certain call might mean. And there's some depth, too. I mean, with the sixth-year guys back like Markel Dismuke and Deontay Williams, there are guys that are reserves this year that players to a man have said, yeah, they could be starting at a lot of programs. Guys like Braxton Clark or Miles Farmer, Noah Pulla-Gates were all players that were mentioned as those who are waiting in the wings. So Nebraska has some depth, they have some experience, and they have some continuity at that spot. I think the other thing that came out of practice today was right at the end. Levi Falk, the receiver, is from Minnesota, and he probably gave the biggest piece of bulletin board material at all when he said, I don't like Minnesota. He's from there. He wasn't really recruited by the Gophers out of high school. He was not really recruited by the Gophers when he went into the transfer portal, a little bit on the baseball side, but not so much for football. He is right next to Bryce Benhart in the locker room, Benhart also being from Minnesota, and they have a little extra personal incentive to go ahead this week and try to find a Husker victory up in Minneapolis. We'll be there. We'll be back here on Thursday with Scott Frost comments, and then Nebraska plays its 8th game in a row at Minnesota before its first bye. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for following along. Stay with us at omaha.com and the Omaha World-Herald. Thanks.